This is going to be chapter 15 revision. This revision is going to be purely about indices, okay? So, we have a square root of 125. Now, there's something you need to know about square root sign. It means to the power of something. What is that number? Does anybody know? If I said root 25, what's root 25? What's root 25? 5. Root 25 is the same thing as writing 25 to the power of a half. If you put 25 to the power of a half in your calculator, what you get? 5. Bottom line, you need to learn it off. When you see a square root sign, change that square root sign into a half. So 125, square root of 125 is 125 to the power of a half. Are we happy with that? Next rule, power of 5. We have to go change 125 into 5. Into 5s. Divide 125 by 5 and count how many times you can do it before you get 1. How many times? Divide 125. Keep dividing it by 5. Once, twice, 3 times. The fact you can divide it in 3 times, this means 125 is 5 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 5. This means it's 5 cubed. Now there's a rule for this one here. Can anybody tell me what rule I'm going to do next? You multiply them. 3 times a half? 5 to the power of 3 over 2. Not to be mixed with 5 to the power of 3 by 5 to the power of a half. What's the answer for this one? 5 to the power of 3.5 or 3.5. 2 different rules, guys. Please note the difference. Brackets and 2 powers. 2 big numbers, 2 powers. That's the visual difference. You need to know it. Alright, let's solve the next question. Or the next part of this. Oh wait, need that. Okay guys. See all these numbers, yeah? Which is the smallest number? 5. Does 5 as a base, what I mean by base number is when I write down these sequence of numbers, does 5 go into the other 2 numbers? It does, doesn't it? It goes through 25 and 125 in its power series. 5 to the power 1, 5, 5 to the power 2, 25, 5 to the power 3, 125. This means 5 is a good choice. Change everything to 5s. Change 25 into what? 5 to the power 2 to the power of x. Change 125, root 125 into 5 to the power of 3 over 2. We already did it. And finally, this one is 5 to the power of 1. There's a rule. What's the rule for when you're dividing fractions? You take them away. So it's going to be 5 to the power of 3 over 2 minus 1. What's 3 over 2 minus 1? A half. So it's going to be 5 to the power of a half. What's the rule for the left side? Exactly. And then at the end of this, 2x equals a half. And where does this 2 go? Goes underneath. Goes underneath, and what happens? X equals quarter. There we go. X equals a quarter. Okay, first one done. Okay, try another one now. Easier or harder? Harder or easier, guys? This one? Easier. Okay, pretty big question. Owen, tell me what to do. Which number should I use for both of them? 4. Alright, if I use 4, 4 to the power 1 is 4. 4 to the power 2 is? There's no 8. 2. Okay, what power of 2 is 4?
2 squared.
2 squared. And what power of 2 is 8?
2 divided 3.
Okay, now what rule do we use for the left side?
Multiply.
And what do I get?
4x plus 2.
Good man. And, yep, right side is there. Now what do I do?
Cancel out the 2's.
Yeah. And I get 4x plus 2 equals 3. Now what?
Bring over the 2.
Yeah.
4x equals 1.
And then?
Bring the 4 over.
Yeah. X equals?
1 over 4.
1 over 4. Here we go. Well, no bother to you. Right? Harder one. Bit harder. Who wants it? Okay. Dara. Just do the first part first. This part here.
27 is 3 to the power 3.
27 is 3 to the power 3.
3 to the power of a half.
Root 3 is 3 to the power of a half, yeah.
And 3 to the power of 2.5.
3 to the power of 3 minus a half, which is 3 to the power of 2.5, like you said. 2.5 in fractions, lads. If you aren't sure. There it is there, 5 over 2. Okay. Happy enough with that? Now, Jack Doran, you're up for the second part. Red part.
So 3 to x plus 1 equals 3 to 3 finals and rounds.
Okay, so what you're telling me is this part here is already done.
Yeah.
And you're going to replace that part with 3 to the power of 5 over 2. And then it's going to be what on the outside? Okay, now what do you do?
You multiply that.
Then what happens? 5 over 2 multiplied by 3? 15 over 2.
So you cancel the 2's.
Okay, get rid of the 3's and we're left with?
2x plus 1 equals 15 over 2.
Okay, now what?
The 1 goes over the side.
Take away 1, isn't it? 13 over 2. Then what?
You divide half by 2.
What happens? 13 over? Or you can just go and divide it by 2. 13 over 4. Okay? Getting a bit easier now, are they? Okay guys, it's obviously time for you to try one. The biggest one of them all. The big one. You're on your own. Give you surds, okay? Express them as powers of 2. 2 to the power of 4. That's 2 to the power of 1 by 2 to the power of a half. If you forget this rule, what I want you to concentrate on is how many big numbers do I have when I do 2 to the power of half by 2 to the power of 1? Sorry, 2 to the power of half by 2 to the power of 1. How many big numbers do you see there? Do you know what I mean by big numbers? The ones that actually look big. How many of them is there?
2.
How many powers is there? Small numbers is powers. Huh? 1. This formula here has 2 big numbers and 2 powers. A is what? What is A? What's in A's position? 2. A is 2. What's in the P's position? 1. And the Q's position? And what it's asking you to do is write down 2. Write down P plus Q. What's P plus Q? 1 plus a half, which is 3 over 2. That's that rule in effect, okay, if you forget it. Okay, it's 3 over 2. Everybody right thus far? Okay, next part. There's two ways of doing the next part, and you'll get the same answer both times. Okay? First way of doing it is, some people did this. You change 16 into, anybody? And you change 2 root 2 into 2 to the power of 3 over 2. Two different ways. I'm going to show you two different ways of doing the same thing. Everybody see this rule here? A over B to the power of P. Yeah? That means each one gets the power of P. Do you see the way the A ends up with the P and the B also ends up with the P? So what's going to happen here is we can do this two ways. The first way is like this. What you can do is you're going to give the 2 to the power of 4 to the power of 3, and you're also going to give the bottom one the power of 3. And what happens now? It's going to end up as 2 to the power of 12 over
2 to the power of 9 over 2.
and 2 to the power of, what do you say, 9 over 2?
Yeah.
And now you can take them away, and what happens when you take them away? 4.5, 12, 7.5, 15 over 2?
Yeah.
12 to the power of 15 over 2. Okay? Now, there's another way of doing that, isn't there? That's one way of doing it. And here's the other way of doing it. The other way of doing it is like this. You look inside the bracket, and what rule is this going to be? The minus rule. When you have a fraction, it's the top power minus the bottom power. So it's going to be 2x minus 1 equals, what is 4 minus 3 over 2? 5 over 2. 2 to the power of 5 over 2 to the power of 3. Now you have the double bracket rule, where you end up multiplying P by Q. What happens when you multiply them? So you can see that both ways give you the same answer. That's what I think it was, who's asked me that earlier? Yeah, both ways give you the same answer. Now what's next? Yeah. And after this, bring it over there. 1. 17 over 2 is correct. 17 over 2. 2x equals 17 over 2. What are we going to do next? Divide by 2. 17 over 4. Okay guys? That's us done.